Welcome back to the 94 podcast. My name is Kossi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Liverpool title contenders this campaign. Liverpool have really recruited this campaign. They've brought in a couple of players in the summer. 100 million and above have been spent with also the arrival of Ryan Gravenberch on deadline day. Does that make them better? Does that make them much better than they were last campaign? To answer that question, we have a big Liverpool fan in the house. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Kossi.
Absolutely. So we're going to be diving into the Liverpool debate. A couple of questions about Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp, Mo Salah, the 200 million they turned down. Was it a crazy bid? And should have Liverpool actually sold, Salah this campaign? So let's start off with the big one. Are you title contenders? Have you done enough in the market to go, we are back and we are going to challenge Manchester City like you've done in the last 5 years?
Well, what I can say is that Liverpool have done amazingly in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have been busy and they have invested a lot. There has been a complete overhaul in our midfield, and it was needed. We had a lot of tired legs in the midfield and we needed fresh legs to contend or to challenge for the title. I cannot guarantee that we are back onto the title, but at least we have started well the season. When you look at our performance in the first 3 games of the season, we were 10 men down, and we managed to win those games. That means that at least the mentality, you can see the mentality is getting back, and then the fresh legs, the new signings have also started off well the season, so you can see that there is something they are trying to build again.
So the big one is what you've done in the back, and where the question comes from is whether you're title contenders, is what you've done, the recruitment of McAllister, World Cup winner, the arrival of Dominic Szoboszlai, a more creative player than Jordan Henderson and Milner and whoever has left the club, and then the arrival of Ryan Gravenberch is like the icing on the cake. Young, talented, very versatile. He's got the ability to become a world-class midfielder, and he's a player I've followed for quite some time. Let's look at the outgoings before we get into the incomings. Jordan Henderson, is he a player that Liverpool needed to replace last season?
Well, when I'm discussing Jordan Henderson, I like as much as I can to not to be biased, but personally, you know me, I love the modern day midfielders that have style and flair. So I'm not a fan of hard workers, but I like midfielders that they are good and they love the ball, technically gifted players. So with Jordan Henderson, he was hard work. I don't want to water down his hard work on the club. But you reach a time when I think Jurgen Klopp wants to bring in something new. You use players who have technical abilities as well as the hard work. But for when you look at the midfields we had earlier, it was only Fabinho whom you would look at and you see that he is a bit technically gifted, and he can read the game and control the game. For Jordan Henderson, he was someone that you could send on the pitch and tell him to pass the ball at least on the wings,
sideways, that kind of sideways, pass.
He couldn't help you more than that. Apart from that, he couldn't give you goals. Assists weren't coming in so much. He was declining. Actually, it was the right time for Jordan Henderson to leave the club. I was so happy for him. But recently, I read one of the articles. I think he was talking with some of the news publications in UK, and he was disappointed on his move, on his way out from Liverpool. He was like, there's no one who told him that Jordan is going to go. He wanted someone to stop him.
So he wanted someone to literally go, we still need you at the club.
But Jurgen Klopp was open to him, and he said that your game time is going to be limited. You are going to the minutes will be reduced because we need to compete, and you saw how we struggled last season because of the tight legs.
Absolutely. So Henderson is gone, Fabinho is gone. Fabinho, is that a mistake that you will regret this campaign? Because Wataru Endo, I've not actually looked at him that much, so I won't give a judgment. But if it doesn't come good, then is Fabinho a transfer that you feel would have been a mistake and shouldn't have happened this time?
I have a feeling that Jurgen Klopp wasn't prepared for Fabinho's
departure, absolutely,
from Liverpool. But it came, and we had to take it in, and we had to look for the ways how we can go about it. And if we had to go to the market, you saw how we went on to Casado.
100 million. Can I talk about that? 100 million.
So when you look at that saga, it definitely reflects on how we weren't prepared for Fabinho's departure. But we had to take it in and definitely plan for it. So Jurgen Klopp decided to go for Wataru Endo. Wataru Endo, when you look at the Bundesliga and the team was playing in for Stuttgart, there weren't so much competition.
That's a huge difference.
A huge difference, actually. But I think you can go with his performance on the national team, Japan. He's the captain of Japan, and when you look at his performance in the World Cup, he's one player who was outstanding for Japan, and he did well in the midfield. And he also has some statistics that actually can defend him up but you can't say that he can replace Fabinho.
And
We all
he's
know
not
who
at that
Fabinho
level.
was.
Yeah.
Not at that level. But Fabinho also struggled with the players that were around him.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a combined effort for the midfield, in Liverpool's midfield. Because for Fabinho, he used to struggle alone. When the new Wijnaldum left the club, then Fabinho remained with Jordan Henderson. Every time Navigator was in the midfield, out injured. So it was Fabinho with the Elliott and the Jones. Definitely, they were young players. They are not so much talented. With the English players, you don't expect much out of them. But he delivered. Fabinho delivered. But I know that with Gravenberch and also Wataru Endo and also Thiago Alcantara, we are forgetting Thiago Alcantara.
And McAllister as well. I think he's got that
players.
defensive ability to to cover up.
So at times numbers can also help you, because if Fabinho last season he didn't do much better than like how we did previous seasons when we won the Champions League and also the Premier League. Last season he also struggled. Actually, I think he picked up into the last 10 games of the season, and he picked up, and you saw that this is the real Fabinho. But within the start of the season, he was struggling.
He really struggled, and you could see it on his facial expression in games. He was frustrated about himself.
Actually, there are some games you thought that Fabinho should be red carded.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But he had lost his form, and he also can't explain. I think even Fabinho could not explain what had
actually happened. So Liverpool collectively declined, but unlike other clubs, Tottenham and Chelsea last campaign, Liverpool collectively then became better towards the end of the campaign. And we all thought Jurgen Klopp could and should have maybe went on to go to the UEFA Champions League. Is that your starting line this campaign, or you want to go and challenge the three big boys up there, Manchester City, Arsenal, and whoever is going to be there, probably Newcastle, probably Man United? Do you want to go and challenge those three, or just stop for this campaign is fine as you try to rebuild that midfield and patch up the defensive inabilities and things like that?
I know many Liverpool players, actually, some of the experienced players we have at the club, they were disappointed by the performances they did put up last season.
Actually, Salah said that it should be bare minimum that we go to the UCL. Like, it should be bare minimum. Surely.
So they know that they had to build on what they had put up at the end of last season to continue and build on that, and also put up a challenge. Because in the last 5 years, Liverpool has been an outstanding team, a team that has been competing and challenging Manchester City. So if you have set up such levels, it cannot be forgiven for you to decline at such a level, and then you don't qualify for Champions League, where you have been qualifying for the last 6 seasons, going there consecutively, and then by just you miss out just anyhow. So it's not forgiven, and they know that they had to pick up from what they had built onto last season is ending towards the end of the season. So I think they are building on that, and you have seen how we have started the season. We have started out quite well. We have 10 points so far, and then we have won games where we have gone down on 10 men, and we have come up to win those games. So like the Newcastle game,
and very difficult places like Newcastle away. That is a huge statement,
a huge one, a big one, because not many people could have given Liverpool a chance to go at just St James Park and pick up a win.
Point.
But
even if it was a point, because Newcastle started with a 5-1 thumping against Aston Villa there at home. So you felt like whoever's gonna come here, they're going to come to pick their flowers and go.
Yeah, surely. So, but that will give in confidence. It will give confidence to the boys. We have seen how even in the defense we have lost Virgil van Dijk, and also we have lost Konate. But we've seen the pairing of Gomez and Joe Matip. It was worse last season that any striker could score in that defense. But we saw how they came into the last game we played over the weekend, and they stood up.
Actually,
so everybody is confident.
I was very surprised that Gomez and Matip kept a clean sheet against Leon Bailey, Moussa Diaby, and Ole Watkins. You could not think about it last game. I was about to add Gomez to my team of the week, but then I had so many other options. But he was so good. That was very, very good.
You couldn't imagine that this is the Gomez of last season. Very worse, and actually most of the Liverpool fans were saying that Gomez should also go out of the team. Actually, I saw how this Arab Spring thing, when it came, they were like, some Liverpool fan put up a post on Twitter and was like, Please, Arabs, we have Gomez and Matthew. Can you bid for these two and take them away from our club?
I know.
It's like they had become a liability to the team, but they rose up onto and they were up to the game, and they definitely kept a clean sheet, which was surprising. But I think it's a matter of gaining confidence because we know that Joe Gomez has the potential, and also Matip is an experienced player.
Yeah, absolutely.
At times they can stand out, and then they can help the team.
Yeah, true. So Liverpool have done very well in the window. You've had a very fantastic start. I think that if there is one thing we know about Liverpool, which is the opposite of City, is Liverpool start well. And if they start well, their campaign is going to be fine.
Yeah.
With Manchester City, they can start slow, they can catch up, but Liverpool like that fire at the beginning. So you've had the fire, you've had good signings. You say Szoboszlai has been absolutely fantastic. I have him in my FPL, had a couple of points as well this week. So I'm going to take you to the big one. Can you challenge at least Arsenal? Do you think you can, you're at the same level now as Arsenal? They built their squad very well. They've brought in Declan Rice, who has actually been a revolutionary signing. And I think slowly but surely, you can see the progress. Do you think Liverpool are there? Because a quadruple chasing side that literally gets a hiccup and declines a little bit should be able to pick up the pace and surpass all these other Newcastle, Man United. I think Liverpool are ahead of Man United. Yeah. I think they're ahead of Brighton. I think they're ahead of Newcastle. Yeah. But are you ahead of Arsenal? Because with Man City, maybe no one is ahead. Maybe no one is at the same level. Yeah. But Arsenal now is kind of the nearest target.
Yeah. Basing on the levels that Liverpool had set in the previous 5 seasons back, I can't say that they are not above Arsenal right now because I'll give you an example. Like when a lion loses weight, it doesn't become a rabbit. So it doesn't become the level of rabbit. So I think Liverpool had a bad season last season. They had a bad run. But I think definitely they had said something in the previous seasons in the back. So they had said something with Man City, and they were like the two big dogs in the league. But then Arsenal came in. So Arsenal had one good season. So we don't know how they are going to maintain it and also maintain those levels. Because with Arsenal, I think they haven't gotten that mentality, which I think many Liverpool players are still with that mentality.
They've lived the experience. They've done it before against City, and I think that's a huge boost.
A huge boost. So definitely, I think with time they will be growing into leaps and bounds into the league as long as they keep the momentum and also the players don't get injured. I think they are firing. All the players are firing. You look at Darwin Núñez. I started off well, scoring goals, which wasn't the case last season. You look at Luis Diaz. He's also delivering. When you look at Diego Jota, when he's given a chance, he's also trying to deliver. Yeah. We also have Cody Gakpo, one of the most talented players I think are in the league with big brains. So you see you have a Mohamed Salah who can do everything. He's now a creative. He can score goals
as well.
So definitely you have a front line that can fire and also punish everyone. They are looking very dangerous. And I think even the new signings, if they click, then Liverpool will be a hard team.
Yeah, it will be. You're much better. There's no question about that. Yeah. Liverpool are really much better. So signings are done. Injuries and squad depth now. That's the last question about whether you can actually go for the title. And I think it's now very crucial. Since the World Cup 2022, what we have seen is unexpected injuries and unexpected huge injuries. SCLs, you have injuries that are going to keep players out of the season. Liverpool have not had their big share this campaign, but they will have. There's no question about that. So, do you have the depth? Do you feel you have the depth in each and every area? I think defensive midfield you do not have, but the rest of the areas, I think the attack is fine. You have a couple of players. Do you think you have that depth to go? We can replace every player like for like, and we will be right or all right.
I think in some areas we are good to go. We are well off, but there are also some departments you feel like we are lacking. More so in the defense, because most of the Liverpool fans can agree with me that we all knew that we needed a central defender, at least one central defender. I was shocked that
Liverpool's transfer shortlist actually didn't have a centre back, because I was looking at the names that were thrown out there. I didn't see a serious centre back. I thought you'd jump onto Disasi. I thought you'd jump onto Kim Min-jae, anyone. And I was really surprised that you didn't try to to just
I
get
think I saw
an obvious option.
The interest, we had interest in Colwell,
Colwell at Chelsea,
the Chelsea player.
Yeah.
But I think he is young, and he, I think he just had one season at Brighton that was quite interesting. Or maybe I think it was impressive, and then Jurgen Klopp was caught up. But then definitely Chelsea was like, no, this guy is not for sale. And definitely the move fell through. And we never opted to go for any other centre back. I think at time that will cost us, because we know how Joe Gomez is injury prone, and then you have Konate. Konate has also is like is a defender, but he's also injury prone.
Yeah.
When you look at Matip, he's also injury prone. He cannot play for
and I think age is catching up with him as well.
So you definitely remain with Virgil van Dijk. And then Virgil van Dijk is also somehow getting tired. So you feel like you needed some fresh legs.
I think if Liverpool could eventually go with the same strategy they've done within midfield, like a complete defensive overall. Because we look at Robertson, and you might need fresh legs there. You look at that centre back pairing of Konate and Van Dijk. Konate and his inconsistency, you might need two centre backs in the end. And probably only Trent is the one player that guarantees you the next 5 years to be on top of his game for the next 5 years.
Sure.
Yeah. So if Man City don't win it, how confident are you on a scale of 10? If Man City don't win it, how sure are you? How confident are you? It's Liverpool.
If at all, Manchester sleeps, and then maybe the race is between Liverpool and Arsenal. If we go onto the wire, like there are 5 games to go. Arsenal is having 84, Liverpool is having 83. Definitely, I know that Arsenal haven't gotten that mentality that can win over 6 consecutive games. We saw how they slept off last season against Southampton, against Liverpool. So there is a way. I think the Arsenal players, maybe because of the age,
and the manager as well, because he's not done it anywhere. Jurgen Klopp had lost the final against Bayern, I think in 2012-13. And then he had during that season he had won the German Bundesliga for Borussia Dortmund. So he had lived the experience. Mikel Arteta, novice, he had not actually lived the experience before.
He knows he can go with any manager up to the last day, and at least you win the trophy on the last day. We have seen it against Pep Guardiola. We managed to get 97 points, and then Manchester won it with 98. And then the other season, Manchester we had 92, and then Manchester won it with 93. So you see how the levels and the mentality he can set, and actually even these players have set. So I think Liverpool can beat Arsenal onto the trophy or onto the second position. Of course, Manchester is way better in terms of the organization
squad, and the squad, and the manager, and everything.
They have everything. But with Liverpool right now, and I know in January we might go for a centre back in January, the central defensive midfielder. If at all Gravenberch and Endo don't prove to be the fit into this system.
Absolutely.